Hello and welcome to Dive In with Aimé, a show by the Fondation Aimé in which we talk about the benefits of music in all languages of the country. Thank you to Radio ARA for giving us the opportunity to present various advantages of music on their airwaves. Today's episode is called Healing Through Dancing, and I'm honored to welcome a guest whose work brings those words to life, Aifric. She's a dancer and choreographer and has collaborated with artists across Europe. But what truly stands out is her commitment to creating dance workshops for the child psychiatry unit at the Centre Hospitalier de Luxembourg. Welcome, Aifric. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for letting me be here.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Are you not too hot?
A bit, yes. Yeah. It's one of the hottest days of the year. So
yeah, we are experiencing a heat wave, but we are here in the studio, so that's commitment. So we'll start right away with the first segment of the show, which is the sound check-in. We ask all our guests about their current favorite music. It can be an orchestra, a band, a musician, or a genre, illustrated by a song that we can play for our listeners. So, Aifric, what's your music of the moment?
Well, I found a really nice song yesterday for you. It's called Luna, Agua, Tierra, Sol by Alfredo. So I think Sol is definitely what we have right now, but it's a very relaxing song, and I think it brings you some more vibes.
Nice. Okay, we'll listen to it right now.
I find myself now shouting to the open. I find myself now hoping for an ocean.
So, all right, Aifric, now we're going to play a little game we call Cliché or Reality. We've all heard those blank statements people make about music, dance, or mental health. You know, the ones that get thrown around like they're fact. But are they really true, or are they just outdated ideas? I'm going to read a few of those common phrases, and you tell us, is it a cliché, or does it actually reflect on your experience? Feel free to challenge them, agree with them, or share a story that brings it to life. So, we will start with the first cliché. I can't dance, so dance isn't for me.
Well, I think a lot of people like to use this as a phrase. Mm-hmm. But I would say it's definitely not true. In my experience, everybody can dance. Maybe you don't like to dance, so that influences you, but dance is really for everybody. And I think the problem is most people expect to do specific steps, so they get worried with rhythm and things like that. But if you're, especially in contemporary dance, if you're using improvisation, it's really freedom and creativity, and it's about getting used to that and letting your body go, I think. So dance is definitely for everyone.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I have to say I already used that phrase as well. But sometimes it's also to protect you. Yeah. But it is true that, actually everyone can dance, and it's beautiful. Okay, moving on to the second cliché. Teenagers don't want to do this kind of stuff. They just roll their eyes.
Well, in the context of the hospital, we had a lot of teenagers, and most of them really love to dance. Last time I was there a few weeks ago, there was one girl, and she was saying the first cliché, I don't like to dance. But I think in most cases it takes a lot of confidence to move in front of other people, and that's often what holds people back from moving. You know, maybe it could be that you don't like, for example, I don't really like sport, I have to say, even that's about moving. But I think teenagers mostly love dancing, actually, I think, and they're creative and they like finding new things about themselves. So I've had really good experiences with teenagers there.
Mm-hmm. So you think behind closed doors every teenager is dancing?
No, but I think they appreciate it, even if they don't do it themselves, and then they need time to get into allowing themselves to be able to do it. I think that's the main thing, is the time and building the confidence to be free. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think now with social media and seeing all these really TikToks. Great dancers on TikTok, I mean, it can be a bit scary, and or you want to be really good and film yourself.
Yeah, exactly. But I think a lot of them do the TikTok things, actually, and it allows them some connection that maybe we wouldn't have had a few years ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. Okay, coming to the third cliché. People with anxiety or trauma don't want to move their bodies. They want to be still.
I would say from my personal experience, I had a moment when I was really not feeling good in life, and there it was very hard to move. You often want to lie in bed and you feel so heavy that it's very, very hard to get anything done. But I think once you can kind of overcome that, or if you let yourself move, at the time I tried to do some yoga from the TV and just following on YouTube typical yoga videos, and it really helped. You already felt the endorphins coming just even for those minutes to allow yourself some freedom, or the tension that you have, or the weight of the problem can have some movement to pass through your body. I think it really helps. But for sure, it's hard to take those first steps, I think, if that's how the anxiety is hitting you, or the difficulty if it's making you feel like you don't want to move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of a project we did in prison where we danced with the women in prison.
Yes.
With Gilles Corvisier. And there was one woman who, like, the first time she didn't really want to come, but then we did a bit of like an information session, and then a lot of women came, and then she immediately started like moving with them, and they felt so good afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in most cases, I think, in maybe a typical dance class setting where you're working on perfection, in some cases, dance can be a little more tricky. But in the sense when it's a workshop, it's about sharing energy, bringing your imagination to life through movement. I think that's the perfect time to feel free and to feel all the benefits and the joy it brings you really from moving.
Yeah, I think maybe sometimes people have too much of a traditional view of dance and just see like this mean ballet teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
And to know that there can be another side though to it.
Exactly.
And also I think contemporary, as you already said, is such an accessible dance form.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you do have a bit of improv and other styles, but not so much. It's really connected with contemporary. And I think we as dancers, we use so many imaginative tools to create movement. And that's where the self-discovery comes from, or like the textures that you can find in your body, or, yoga is also great, as I said, but then I think it's still quite linear and you're still creating forms, and the moment that you can have freedom to be, for example, floating like a leaf, and then it brings much more, discovery. You can have all different textures or things that, people are not normally doing in their everyday dance lives.
Yeah, it's like a lot of alignment with mind and body.
Yes, exactly. Like the somatic work, really.
That it's really not just sports, as we said before, that it's really more like with your mind as well. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, moving on already to the last cliche. Hospitals are for medicine, not for music.
Well, I mean, traditionally, yes, hospitals are for medicine. But I think now there are so many studies coming out with the benefits of even, I think I was looking at sound waves for healing. And I think that we're going wider in terms of what we know really help people, and for sure bringing, in my case, dance to these patients. I believe at least that it's helping them, even bringing those moments of joy. And in terms of music, anything that can bring you out of yourself, because we all know how it is to be sick and lying in bed and not feeling good, and any kind of art forms, they really do help to uplift your mood in most cases, whether that be dance, music, art, drama. Yeah,
and I think, a hospital doesn't want to be a negative place, let's say, but it is often a bit connotated with that, and it can be scary, it can be weird to be there, like really for kids or teenagers to be in this space. And I think it really helps them to, like, as you said, be distracted as well, and forget about where they are actually a bit.
Yeah, because most of them are staying in the hospital, so they don't even have maybe the support of a guardian or their family around them. And I think that it's really necessary to have these activities so they don't get too worried about why they're there. Maybe, as you say, it's a moment where they can be distracted or find something else, or find a bit of the outside life going on outside the hospital that's brought to them.
And there is really a big demand. There's more and more hospitals also reaching out to EME and just being like, get more activities like that, because during the holidays when they don't even have school, the kids, it's a bit like, what do we do all day with them? They're not even allowed to go out. It's really important to do something with them, though, to not, it's also important to focus on them becoming healthy again and on their mental health, but only that is too much.
Yes, and I think most mental health issues are helped by the activities you do and the stimulation and finding some sort of purpose again. So I think it's really important to keep activities going.
This brings us already then to the next section, which is to talk about your dance workshops in the CHL, in the Child Psychiatry Department. Can you tell us a bit how you started doing these workshops and what were your first thoughts when you were asked to bring dance into that setting?
So I was asked after having worked with the Fondation MA with Elizabeth Schilling, which is another dance artist. I helped her on another project, and from there I was asked to join working in the hospital, which she had also done. So I was quite happy to have that offer. And so I think I started 2 years ago now, if I'm correct. Time flies. But I think I have worked in the social area in Luxembourg, whether it would be with people who have disabilities or homeless people with Parkinson's. I don't know. There's different areas that I think are important to me, rather than maybe just, traditional dance schools or just artists for stage work. So I began that way. And it was a great discovery because now I'm really interested in keeping on going with that.
Do you also do sometimes, though, the traditional way? Do you go on stage? Do you also...
Yes, I mean, not as much now. This year I have been doing a lot of teaching because, as an artist, it's hard to have stable income, I have to say. I do already work with a lot of children around Luxembourg, but I still have small projects now. We have one on Saturday in a garden, and it was a project also that we worked with Accès à la Culture to integrate refugees into dance work.
Is it at the Luga, at the Luxembourg Garden?
No, not that one. It's in Canopé, ASPL.
Okay, cool. But that's cool, yeah. And there you had a lot of people coming for your workshops.
With the refugees?
Yeah.
Some. It was a little tricky. Yeah, I think our concept and the actual realization of the concept was a bit different than we expected. A lot in that case as well, a lot of people are interested to take part in things, but it might not be for them, which is also fine.
Yeah.
They've tested something, or they're from cultures that these kind of activities are not so normal. And then we wanted them to be part of a performance at the end. And we had one lovely lady from Eritrea that joined us, but most of her friends were either too shy or too busy. So we had her and then two of the junior company in Luxembourg and myself and another dance artist. So we made a project together.
Okay,
but
nice.
It was different than we thought.
And coming back to the dance workshops at Child Psychiatry, so what happens during a typical session?
Well, we start off with a warm-up. On the first session, obviously, I introduce myself and explain a bit about what I'm doing in Luxembourg. But it's important always to warm up the body, and that also gets the energy going. And I think already starting with some imaginative tasks so they can get an idea of how it will go. And then each session has been kind of different. Sometimes I try something and I see, these children are not so connected to that task, so I try something else. Like for the last time I was there, actually, there were a few girls that really were interested in learning a phrase, which I hadn't done in, let's say, last summer. I hadn't done that. So over the course of the 4 days, I built a little phrase with them and they kept on practicing. So, each time it can be a little different. I generally tend to have something that maybe I can teach them, and then some tasks that are more creative. Also, last year we did a lot of things to work in 2s or 3s or on their own, so that they could also have a little connection with the other patients and friends that they had made there. And it was also good because I think some of them are children with some behavioral issues or some concentration issues, and changing around groups and working in different ways, I feel that benefits them.
So have you seen any kind of transformations in the kids?
Yeah, I mean, last summer I was there over 4 weeks, I think it was. And, there are the patients that have eating disorders.
Mm-hmm.
And one girl definitely made a huge transformation over the time I was there. At the beginning, she was very hesitant to try. She was quite withdrawn. And by the end, I felt at least, and she was really enjoying herself, and they were all expressing that they were sad I was going. So that was very touching. Yeah, but she really, I don't know, I could feel that she found something that she was enjoying discovering and creating, and that was very beautiful to see.
It's nice, yeah. So she became more confident.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think, obviously I'm not a doctor, but in things like with eating disorder, of course, it's a very complex issue.
Mm-hmm.
But finding joy and finding moments that you can be proud of yourself has to surely impact you and help you in your recovery, I think.
Yeah, and then being proud of your body again, moving.
Exactly,
because they have a difficult relationship with their bodies.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so those cases kind of stand out more because you can see how maybe physically withdrawn they are at the beginning compared to maybe children who have, let's say, ADHD or some kind of concentration issue, which their body maybe also need to be taken into account, but it's not the same.
And I suppose that music also plays a big role in your sessions.
Yeah, I mean, I try and take, I would say, world music in general. Okay. I'm not a great person to know all the genres, but I would classify it as that. And I try and have music from different cultures in different languages. Also, maybe jazz music where there's no lyrics, like improvised jazz music, or sometimes classical music, a tiny bit of pop, just so sometimes that they can recognize something, or they often make requests.
Do they make suggestions? Yeah. Oh, cute.
The last time the guy who wanted AC/DC. So that's
that's cute.
Yeah.
I heard that this song Apete that is like so loved by kids.
Actually, we didn't have any requests for that yet.
Okay, sad.
Maybe that's coming. Yeah, but sometimes they come with French music or Portuguese music that they really like, and they make a little dance for me. We had that last year.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I like to try and change the styles and the energy of the music. Sometimes you might start with something more relaxing, maybe if you're just warming them into it, and then getting them going into something else. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how do you prepare for a session with the people?
So last year I took a lot of different, let's say, subjects or ideas or things that I could do with props. So last year I had the balloons. I don't know if you were there last time when I had the balloons. Someone was there with me.
Okay.
But I take maybe an idea like that I know there are different things to do with it in the session. Mm-hmm. Or maybe looking at textures, and then I bring different objects in to discover. So I take different sort of themes, and then I also have sort of like backup tasks, different things, because as I said before, especially the first time you meet the kids, you don't know what ages they are, you don't know who they are, so you also need to be quite open for the first session. And then over the time that you're there, even though some of the kids are changing, you have certain ones that will stay, so you can kind of
get to know them and a bit their preferences.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think last year over the summer it worked well because we had different themes each session, and they seemed to like that because it was always something new and
that's good.
And you, even if maybe some elements, let's say, if the warm up stayed the same, but the actual things we were discovering changed. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was there once, you were drawing the lines, and then they had to dance like the lines they drew.
Yeah, exactly.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Yeah, so I think, obviously as a dancer, we have been so lucky. We've had so many, teachers, workshops, experiences that really enrich us. And then you kind of maybe have even though I haven't done that specifically myself, you might have ideas that you've seen or tried and say, okay, that could lead to something else, and I can develop that in a new way for the kids. So you take from your toolbox, let's say.
Yeah, that's nice. And what are the hardest parts of doing this work?
I have to say, of course, seeing children that are sick, that's obviously tricky, particularly if they're severely impacted or you feel that they're just not happy. That's hard to see. It's not that you try your best. If it doesn't connect with them, you've tried at least your best, and you've tried to bring them something, and maybe it has a small impact in its own way. So that can be hard, but I think in general, it's not. I think once you do any kind of social work, it brings you certain joy anyway, because you know that you're trying to help people. So I think it's never overpowering the sense of, hardship. You're always thinking, well, I'm trying to do something for the greater good. If it sounds cheesy, but
really it's creating impact.
Yeah,
and just,
I think so.
Doing something little for them already
sharing
make their day.
What you have and what you experience in life and what brings you joy, and allowing other people to maybe share that moment with you.
What's one thing one of the participants maybe said or has done that you didn't forget?
I would say the girl that I mentioned earlier, definitely, she stood out in my mind. But even there was a very cute boy last year, and he loved to dance. He really did. He was around 12 or 13, typical age that you could think, oh, they don't, they're in the first cliche, so they don't want to dance. But he loved it. And I think that whole group, they were really touched by it. And, they were always like, oh, but I'm leaving tomorrow, because they leave generally on Friday. So you could see that they didn't want to go sometimes. They want to continue their dance experience. Yeah, I think it's just all of them collectively. I can't pick out anyone else, maybe specifically, but all of them have different stories in their way that they, even if they don't express it with words, that you still, you share a moment with them.
And what do you hope the participants carry with them after a session with you? Yeah,
I think it's that. It's to learn to see that they actually have a lot of imagination, and that this imagination is a great tool for discovering the body in a different way that, most people won't. And even in sport, let's say it's about training, maybe, like I said, I'm not a sportswoman, so maybe some sports person would disagree with me, but I think the imaginative factor is really what I think is helpful for people, because it brings you beyond the everyday, maybe life that could be difficult. And like, for example, if you imagine eating a ball of energy and then it's moving around your body in the inside and it's taking you over, that's just creating a movement rather than be like, move like this. Once you put the imagination with it, then you can feel it happening, or if something is hot or something is cold. So that's the way that I would like people to be able to access dance and movement. I'm sure we've all been, unless someone's very extroverted, you've all been to like a party, even me, where you're like, oh, I don't want to dance. Everybody's watching. I'm just going to do my two-step, And we all have those moments where you feel a bit blocked or embarrassed. But I think, that you have so much freedom and discovery to find, and even if they don't love dance, that they've seen something else of themselves.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, imagination is power. It can also make them escape their reality for a moment. Exactly. If you give them those tools that they can express themselves, then
definitely.
Even if you're not there one day, also with this dance, that's nice. Yeah. Okay, we're coming already to the end of this episode, and we always finish with recommendations. Do you have a suggestion for our listeners related to the topic? Something to watch, listen, or to read?
So I would say Sing as Dance is probably best experienced or seen. I mean, I think we're so lucky in Luxembourg. There are thousands, well, exaggeration, but there are so many theaters here that have dance, whether it be small places like Banana Fabrique for Trois, the Maison de la Danse, as it's called now. That's more experimental, or you have, there were so many theaters in every corner of Luxembourg that have something to be seen. And I think what's often a pity is that dance is so underwatched or underrepresented in, people will go and see music or listen to music concerts. They might go to some other things, but dance in itself is often not so, it doesn't have the biggest audience, let's say. So I'm always advocating for that. Go and see what inspires you. Maybe you'll have an experience that you didn't expect, but also to try. I mean, even if you're at home listening right now, try what I said, like take a little ball of energy, eat it, see how you can play with it inside you. I think, try come to a dance class or or a workshop, even if it's once off, just to see what you might be able to access for yourself.
Yeah, it's nice. I have to say I feel motivated now to dance.
Great. Good.
In the heat, maybe not today, but a different day.
A very cooling dance up to, I imagine, water. If it's
Just dancing in the pool.
Yeah, exactly. You can float.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you to all our listeners for tuning in. Dive In with Aimé is a show by Fondation Aimé, supported by Fondation André Loche. Thank you to Radio Ara for allowing us to broadcast this show and for supporting us on this journey. And finally, thank you to Taipan for the wonderful jingle. You can listen to Dive In with Aimé on all streaming platforms and once a month on Radio Ara's airwaves. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.